I've gotten the text Breakfast of Champions, and I've actually got an excerpt of the text containing a chapter one and a preface. The book is published in 1973, and the author is Kurt Vonnegut, an American writer. Just a quick summary. It introduces the main characters, who is Dwayne Hoover and Kilgore Trout. Um, and throughout it focuses on American nationalism and the American identity. Um, it is a little bit critical towards the collective historical thoughts of or understandings, um, and it brings up society problems and the different society political beliefs as communism and stuff like that. Dwayne Hoover is one of the main characters, and he's mentally unstable due to some chemical unbalance in his brains, which is also to be seen in the quote I have about him. And Kilgore Trout is a science fiction writer. And Dwayne gets his mentally unstable mind to do something due to the bad ideas that he gets from Kilgore Trout's novels. A quick narrator. It's a all-knowing third person, meaning that the narrator knows everything, also feelings and stuff like that about the characters, which is also to be seen in the quote. Um, and yeah, throughout the narrator becomes stays a little subjective, as it's a way for the author to show his feelings towards society and society's flaws. Um, a quick analysis. Kilgore Trout felt like he was a nobody as he was living. Um, he was quite impressed by himself and shocked when he figured out that he could put evil into the world. And he did that by giving these bad ideas to Dwayne. Kilgore Trout was born in 1907 and died in 1981. Dwayne, who's going insane, um, was or is kind of like the author's way of portraying mental illness. And he's influenced by problems such as like social bad ideas and stuff like that. Like he is influenced by what he sees and what he hears, making him kind of like stupid as he reads stuff in these science fiction novels, which creates this wrong picture of him being stupid. Moving on to language, the language is quite simple and easy readable. It's easily readable due to like short sentences and a very neutral language, which is to be understood by everybody. And also, it has some satirical points. As for example, as seen in the quote, as when it describes these politicians having educations which has no meaning, and they've just been studying hocus pocus. Yes. Um, Moving on to um, the postmodern themes, things that are typical for postmodernism. For example, technology taken over. As seen in the quote, it seems like Kurt Vonnegut is criticizing society for being so materialistic, and he says that people are seen as robots, and in this quote, he says that humans used other humans for machines and thought of them as machinery. In the other quote for technology is about everyone else being was a fully automatic machine, criticizing just society and how people are looked at. And for the postmodern concepts, we have fragmentation, which is quite obvious because due to the story being divided into several parts. and it's quite obvious to see like the divides, different parts, introduction and so on. And then yeah, again back to the language with the satire and kind of humorous way of describing the American society and the idea of Americans. There's another part of the story where it says, "Well, to grab your own things and hold tight to it," kind of like making fun of the American way of society. Um, yeah, and then there's used metafiction, as the author tells the reader that this is fiction, and it's written by another author in the story. Yeah. Then for the comparison, I've chose to compare this story to American Psycho, the killing child at a zoo story that we read a couple of months ago, and that's just because that humans are seen as these very materialistic, yeah, kind of like just materialistic and like outdated or so, ignorant people, yeah, ignorant robots almost. Um, and yeah, the main character is seen at this quote from the American Psycho story as very materialistic, as he describes his different clothes and what he wears and what he does and stuff like that. And he has all the brands and the prices of these brands and so on. Which is like very criticized by the author Kurt Vonnegut. Yeah, and then all in all, like technology is a part of both. Like every day is a machine, and everyone is subconsciously controlled by machines and stuff like that. Well, that's it.